welcome back. It is April 6th and it feels like summer here in Northern Virginia. Today we have hit 85 degrees and it's humid and it feels like summer is here before spring. A lot of my fruit trees have broken dormancy and they're starting to leaf out. I even saw my banana trees starting to push out new leaves. So today I want to do a full tour of the garden and show you how things are growing. And I also took out all of my seedlings from the basement and I put them outdoors and I want to show you what they look like. This little guy right here is a Citramello that was gifted to me by my friend TG from It Is Just Gardening. And it almost died in the 7-degree weather that we had, but it's leafing out right now and check out these beautiful leaves. It's coming back from the dead. I thought it was gonna die completely, but here you can see some dead branches. This one is definitely dead, but right over here, this one has made it through zone 7 and we got down to 7 degrees one night and then we stayed below 32 degrees for 3 nights after that, and it survived and it is coming back to life. This is a hybrid between trifoliate orange and a grapefruit, so if it ever makes a fruit, it's going to be super large like this, but it might be another 5 years before I see any fruit. This little twig right here, the one that is right here, is a pomegranate that was also gifted to me by TG. You can see that it's putting out new leaves and hopefully it will put out some flowers this year and I will get some pomegranates this year. My baby pomegranate tree that I planted last year is also starting to put out new leaves. It's looking quite wonderful. This one produced 1 flower last year, so I think this year it's going to put out at least 1 or 2 flowers. So it's going to be pretty when it does that. The rest of the garden looks pretty nice right now. Everything is nicely weeded because I was in here the other day taking out all the weeds, and I took out the carrots that were interplanted with this garlic right here. This one is the best looking garlic. This was planted in October, and then I have some onions that are growing over here right now. The onions are doing quite well. I planted this whole bed with onions. These are bulbing onions, so hopefully in about 90 days I'll be harvesting some onions from here. The very front of the garden is looking good too. The little flowers are tatsoi, they're flowering right now. My hope is to plant a lot of flowers here again this year, so I'm starting a few indoors right now, but mostly I'm gonna plant from seed. Everything in the side garden is starting to bloom and push out flowers. Check out these beautiful collard greens. This is supposed to be tree collards, so I'm hoping to save some seeds from this one this year. Check out how big it is and how much flowers is pushing out. This is all arugula and the arugula is doing really well, and I need to harvest all of this right now because I'm planning to put in some very cool and exotic plants right here. This wall right here gets the most amount of sun all year because it faces south, so I get a lot of sun right here. So I want to plant a lot of different things in here that require a lot of sun and where I am pushing the boundary. I'm going to be planting a pineapple guava tree in here, another pomegranate tree. I am also going to grow a loquat tree here, and that is actually a very special loquat because I got it from my buddy Jimmy VA. He also has a YouTube channel, and I'm going to be putting it in here. I think it's going to be hard to get a fruit out of the loquat tree, but the tree itself is very beautiful, so I'm going to grow it even just for the looks of it. And right now I also brought out probably half of the plants that I have indoors into this little side yard that I have here. You can see that I have an awning because I am trying to acclimatize them to the UV light, so they get to rest in here. This little section doesn't get more than 2 to 3 hours of direct sunlight, so this is a perfect location to harden off my plants and to get them acclimatized to the UV rays again. So let me show you what is in here. I have my beautiful bird of paradise right here, and if you watched yesterday's video, I have my pepper plants here that were overwintered from last year. I also have an eggplant right here. This is false cardamom. It smells like cardamom, but it is related to ginger. And then I have my other peppers right back there. And check out the seedlings. These are the seedlings that I have been growing indoors for quite some time. And check out how big they are. They are super big. I mean, look at this one. This is an eggplant, and this one's doing quite well. This is a long eggplant, and this was planted on March 3rd. So it's only about a month old, and check out how beautiful this seedling is. It's just so nice. I'm so excited because every year I try to grow eggplant, and sometimes it works out well and sometimes it doesn't work out well. And I think this year is going to be a good year for eggplant because the plants are looking nice and healthy from the start. And check out my tomatoes. Do you think these tomatoes are big or what? These tomatoes are crazy. They are so big already. These were planted on March 9th. So they are less than a month old, and check out how tall and cool they are. I need to up pot them. I sent a message to my friend. She helped me last year up pot a bunch of tomatoes. So we're probably gonna do that next week and hopefully get out of these 4 cell containers. There's 8 plants in here. So hopefully I can double my tomatoes by just up potting them and separating the roots and putting them into separate containers. This is the pineapple guava I was talking about. It is a cool looking thing. It is a guava that is originally from South America, and it grows in the Andes and is very cold tolerant, and I got it from Edible Landscapings. And this one is going to be nice and cool because it can grow outdoors without protection. This is lemongrass that I overwintered from last year. I'm excited because it's survived and now I can put it outdoors. It's a sad looking guava tree that I need to take care of. It got a little infection of some bugs and I put neem oil and everything trying to save it. It is alive. You can see the little leaves right here and it's gonna survive. I also have this mulberry tree right here that I had indoors for quite some time, and look at what it is. This is Pakistani mulberry. I'm excited about the Pakistani mulberry because I have been looking for that for a long time, and I found it down at Edible Landscaping. It makes a long fruit that is about this big, and I'm excited because mulberries are really delicious, but they are tedious because they are so small to pick. But this variety is super long and sweet, so I'm excited about that. And check out this beautiful Meyer lemon tree that I have here. I bought this one last year and it grew quite well, and I brought it indoors, and now it's putting some flowers and even has some fruit. But so far it keeps dropping them. So it is okay that it drops them because I don't want to stress the tree with making fruit. I actually want it to grow a bit more. But if I ever get to build my greenhouse, I'm going to be putting this tree in the greenhouse. This is a tea plant. This is what you would cut the leaves, cure them, and then roast them, and you make tea out of it. This is supposed to be hardy to zone 7, so we'll see if it survives the outdoors. I'm going to be putting it outdoors without much protection. I also got this one from Edible Landscapings, and they had a tree growing outdoors no problem, and it grows just fine for them. So I'm hoping that it will do fine right here. This is a little starfruit tree that I started from some seeds that, from a fruit that my mom had. So this is my little green paradise, and it's starting to fill up with greenery, and I am so happy because the gardening season is upon us. Right back here along the fence, I have grapes and blackberry vines, and they are starting to come alive. The blackberries are actually putting a lot of growth this year, and I'm hoping that the production on them is quite good this year. Last year I got a few berries, but not that many. But this year is going to be the year I get the most. This vine right here, I used to have in a community garden for about 5 or 6 years. And when I had to give up my plot, I dug it out and I brought it here. And I didn't know if it was going to survive. Last year, it produced maybe 1 grape, but I'm hoping this year I'll get a ton of grapes. These are Concord grapes and really delicious, and it used to produce 2 5-gallon buckets every year. So I'm hopeful that it will start producing just as much in its new home. And check out the elderberry bush. This one is already all flushed out and it's doing quite well already. Do you remember the little Napa cabbages I planted in here? Well, here they are, nice and big, and hopefully in about 3 more weeks I'll be harvesting them and eating them. And check out the rest of the row. It's doing quite well. Everything's growing a little slowly, but that's okay. We'll have time to harvest those before it gets too hot for them. Right over here on these raised beds, I have some greenery growing. And the one that is growing the most right now is this little oak leaf green lettuce. And right along here, I've planted some sugar snap peas, and I put this little trellis so that I can grow up the trellis and I can harvest a lot of peas. This right here is corn mash, and then right next to them I have a bunch of baby carrots, as you can see them right there. The potatoes I planted over here the other day are coming up. You can see here little sprouts, and right there's another sprout, and that one was a big one, and I planted it anyways, and look, it's putting out some leaves anyway, so it worked out. Now we just have to see if it produces potatoes underneath. This is one of my pawpaw trees. It is coming up right now and it's leafing out. This is my tallest one. It's probably 6 foot tall now already, and check it out. And this is a perfect example of how you can grow multiple foods in one little section. I have blackberries growing up the trunk of this tree, but I also have chives at the bottom, and I even have some hostas down here. So this whole thing is going to fill up very soon. These are called hascups or honeyberries, and they're supposed to be more productive than blueberries, and they are a little bit less fuzzy than growing blueberries. So I'm excited about growing these this year. Check out this tiny little pawpaw it's growing here. This baby pawpaw should grow a little bit better this year, because last year I had an elderberry tree right here. I removed it this year because I wanted to create a path, and now that one should get a lot more sun. Right before we go into the back orchard, I want to show you my little blueberry patch, and they are beautiful. They have beautiful flowers right now. And I have 4 bushes, and this year I took some cuttings and I'm trying to propagate them. So hopefully I can double my blueberry production in the next few years, because I took cuttings and I'm gonna make more plants. In the back forest, I protected my banana plants with some leaves, and this morning when I came out here, I noticed that the leaf is pushing out and it's right here and it's green. So this year I'm hoping this produces a flower and a fruit. That's why I wanted to protect the trunk. The fruit is very small and seedy. People say that it's not edible. I want to test that out though. I want to try it and see if I can eat it. The compost piles are doing well. I've turned them twice already, so the compost in here should be finished in about another month or so, but I think I'll just let it go for a little longer and then use them in the fall when I am getting ready to plant my winter garden. And then I have my original fruit trees right here. This tree put a ton of flowers out this year, and I'm thinking I might have to thin a few of them if the set is too heavy. But for now, we're just gonna enjoy the flowers and see what it does on its own. This tree right here is a peach tree that I planted from a seed last spring, and it grew to about 5 feet tall last year, and I had to give it a nice little haircut, and right now it is pushing out new growth, and I think if I am lucky, I'm gonna get fruits out of this in another 2 years. So wish me luck. In my food forest, I am growing some potatoes in between the trees right now, and I am also growing some understory. This is a currant, if I'm not mistaken, and then over there I have another type of currant right there. Right back here, I have my Asian pear tree, and it is loaded with blooms right now, but the odd thing is that only one side of it is producing blooms. So this branch right here has some blooms, and the other branch has blooms. So it is kind of weird that only 2 or 3 branches are putting out blossoms, but that's okay. Hopefully next year these guys will put up their own flowers. I'm not seeing any blooms on this tree this year, so that's okay. Hopefully it will grow out this year and put out flowers next year. Yeah, I don't see any flowers on it, so that's okay. We'll wait another year. And check out the apple tree. I had to give it a nice haircut this year because I want to keep all these trees within reach. So I don't want them to get too tall. I want to be able to reach all of them with my hands. So hopefully it doesn't get too big this year, but check out the blossoms on this. This year I'm going to invest in little nettings for each one of these trees that are putting out fruits. So I can see that this year I'm gonna need 3 nets because the apple tree last year had about 4 apples and the squirrels ate all of them. So I need to put a net over this once the apples have formed. This little guy right here is a cherry tree. Last year it got nice and green, but it didn't put out any flowers, and I don't see any flowers on it this year either. So that's okay. I mean, I wish it put out some flowers this year, but it's okay. Hopefully next year we'll get some cherry blossoms and hopefully some fruit. This tree right here was already here when I got this property, and it was the only tree that I did not cut down all the way. This is a mulberry tree, and it has some mulberries on it again this year. Last year it had some mulberries, but it didn't set fruit. All of them dropped. So I think it might need a pollinator for it to get cross-pollinated. There's no other mulberries nearby, so I don't know. If this year it doesn't set any fruit, I think I might cut it down. So you heard me right, buddy. I'll cut you down if you don't keep any fruits. And now the greenhouse. The greenhouse is full of greenery. Look at that lettuce. Look how big this lettuce is. I have been harvesting from it quite heavily, and it's just producing a ton of lettuce. I said in a video before that this little patch will probably produce all the lettuce that I would need for a few months, and I'm starting to believe it because I am not able to eat all of it. In fact, I think I'm going to start harvesting some of this and donating it. There's a local nonprofit that collects produce from backyard growers like myself and some other farms as well. And then they deliver it to people who need it. So I think very soon here, I'm going to have to start harvesting and delivering that so it can get to people that need them. Check out how big this spinach is. This is my hand. That's the spinach leaf. That is some big spinach right there. And I have another set of it over there, because once this gets a little too old, it starts blooming, and then you can't really eat it because it starts getting quite bitter. But then I have a second planting of it right over there, so it can be my succession. And check out these little seedlings right here. They are red romaine lettuce, and I'm hoping to plant a ton of them out in the front lawn so it looks beautiful in rows when I'm growing some red leaf lettuce right along the front. Right back there I have Miner's lettuce, and this is a native green to foothills of California, and miners back in the day used to eat it to prevent scurvy, and it is super tasty and succulent, and it is really easy to grow. Check out this beautiful red leaf lettuce that is growing on its own right here. I also have a ton of radishes that are coming up quite fast. Check out how big these are, and hopefully very soon we'll have a lot of radishes to start eating. Here is the tomato that I planted the other day. It is not growing a lot, but hopefully it will start growing super fast this whole week, because it's gonna get very hot very quick. And check this little flower out. This is a strawberry. I put the strawberries in these containers because I wanted them to produce flowers much sooner than outdoors, and sure enough, they are coming up right now. I am so happy that my plan is working. Check out this tiny radish. I probably could harvest it right now. I'll let it grow a little bit more and we'll take it from here, but there's a lot of little radishes in here. So cool. I have cilantro growing here, more spinach, and this is watermelon radish, and it's doing quite well. This here is radicchio. I've never grown radicchio before, but I decided to give it a go this year. And this is my seedling bed, so very soon I'll take from here and plant out into the yard. I also have some arugula growing here. I should come and cut this pretty soon and make it a microgreen salad. It's gonna be delicious. Here I'm starting to notice a problem. These little black dots are flea beetles, if I am not mistaken. Yep, that's exactly what they are. They are jumping away as soon as I put my hand down. And look at this. It is growing on a weed though. This weed is not edible to me, but it's edible to that particular beetle. That's so interesting because it's not bothering the beets that I have right here. So that's interesting to note, that you can have a pest, but it's not affecting the crop. I'm gonna watch it closely because these can decimate tomatoes and eggplants. So I don't want these flea beetles to get out of hand. Right back here I have some Mizuna. This is in the mustard family and it tastes quite nice. And this is red collard greens. I don't see any red on them, so they might be green. And right back here are some collard greens, some bok choy, and I have some peas that I also planted here. I think something is eating them though, because I see that one over there is munched down a lot. So I don't know. We'll have to check what's going on with them. But there's quite a few of them. I think it might be the flea beetles that are, oh, wait. I see the problem. You see all these little things right here? Those are baby slugs and they are eating my pea shoots. So I need to come in here and put some Sluggo so that they don't decimate my planting of peas. Check that out. I have more spinach growing in this container. And then right over here, a few more strawberries. There is a lot more things that I could show you today, but unfortunately we're running out of time. The rain is coming and I need to go edit this video. So thank you so much for watching today's video. And if you have any questions about what I'm growing this year, leave it in the comments down below and let's have a conversation about it, and hopefully you can grow it too. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you on the next one.